Heavy airstrikes in the dead of night, terrorist fighters running away in the dark, and a powerful Western leader left completely empty-handed. Welcome back, you're watching the Global Observer. The military balance of power in West Africa is hitting a major turning point tonight. While French President Emmanuel Macron was finishing a 3-day tour in Ethiopia to lecture the continent about global rules, the Malian Air Force was doing something France could not achieve in 9 long years. Working closely with the Russian African Corps, Malian jets launched 4 highly precise airstrikes right into the heart of the rebel stronghold in Kidal. These surgical strikes smashed enemy buildings, destroyed heavy artillery, and sent rebel convoys fleeing out of the city in total panic. Tonight we break down this massive desert victory, the tightening ring of the fire round of enemy, and the deeper war to reclaim African history from foreign control. For a long time, these groups felt completely safe because they thought the sky belonged to them. But the Malian Air Force has just shown that there is absolutely nowhere left to hide. Western media outlets immediately tried to spin the story by claiming the military was hiding and hitting civilian infrastructure. But local sources confirmed the strikes happened in the dead of night and targeted exact military spots. The jet flattened the main guard stations, the lookout patrols, and the heavy vehicle poles where fighters stood with their fingers on trigger. This precision campaign has completely smashed the morale of the Azawad Liberation Front, known as the FLA. Their leader Bilal Ag-Asharif is now desperately begging for international negotiations because his fighters are completely exposed under the desert sun. This massive aerial victory is part of a much larger strategy to build an unbreakable ring of fire around the entire northern region. The Malian forces are working hand in glove with their regional allies to trap the enemy inside a massive kill zone. Every major strategic position is being heavily reinforced with armored elements and advanced logistics. To the south, the town of Anafis is solidly held by national troops. To the east, the military base near Agolok has been completely secured. To the north, sustained air pressure is hammering enemy camps along the Algerian border. Even the strategic Labzanga base near Niger has been successfully retaken by the joint forces. The joint army is moving forward with absolute confidence, proving that raw discipline can easily crush any foreign-funded proxy coup. As the enemy now has a network that is falling apart, their single remaining lifeline is being fully exposed to the world. That final passage runs directly through Algerian territory. The Algerian government publicly states that it rejects all forms of terrorism, which is a position we acknowledge. But the actual political head of the rebels, Agapas Italia, is currently being hosted inside Algeria as an essential figure for dialogue. This creates a massive contradiction that cannot hold for much longer. You cannot claim to stand for peace while hosting the top bosses of an active terrorist movement. The supply lines and fuel trucks that keep this rebellion alive run straight through that northern border desert. Mali's leadership has already openly accused outside forces, including Ukraine, of providing logistics to the insurgents. The next few weeks of movement will reveal the total truth, and neighbors will have to choose between true partnership or supporting chaos. Dear viewers, while Mali was busy securing its borders through raw strength, Emmanuel Macron was finishing a 3-country tour with absolutely nothing to show for. He visited Egypt, Kenya, and Ethiopia, throwing small green loans around like crumbs from a colonial table. Macron stood at the African Union headquarters and claimed that African problems should be solved by Africans. But in his very next breath, he rejected Africa's right to choose its own security partners like Russia or China. This is paternalism dressed up in a fancy partnership outfit. The French leader wants to remain relevant in 2026, but the plain reality is that Francophone Africa has completely rejected his military presence. His troops have been kicked out of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. He is now forced to tour Anglophone nations because his old empire has completely collapsed. The era of bowing to Western demands is officially over. The ultimate lesson of these days at showdown is that true independence requires a complete liberation of the human mind. The war in Mali is not just about bullets and high-tech drones. It is a profound war over cultural identity. Famous Pan-African activists are pointing out the African customs, traditions, and spirituality. They are saying that these have been ridiculed and erased for centuries by the people who profited from colonial rule. No great civilization has ever survived by throwing away its own foundation. Look at China and Iran. They kept their languages, their calendars, and philosophies, and today they stand strong against global superpowers. This is why the Alliance of the Sahel States is going to do something truly revolutionary. They have set up expert committees to completely rewrite African history textbooks from the African perspective. Future generations will finally learn that a history is written by their own people, breaking the chains of psychological independence forever, or better still, psychological dependence forever. The historic victory in Kidal proves that when African nations move as one unified force, the old playbook of foreign division loses all its power. It loses it all. The military command has made it clear that there will be absolutely zero negotiation with designated terrorist groups. Now, the skies now belong to Mali, the ground is being consolidated, and the next generation is learning to stand upright with true pride. Thank you for trusting the Global Observer to bring to you the unfiltered facts behind the global headlines with absolute quality. It also brings clarity and precision to whatever you think is news. So what are your thoughts on Mali's massive airstrike in Kidal? How can African nations completely free their education system from old colonial control? Let us know your knowledge in the comments section below. Make sure you smash that like button, share this broadcast across your digital platforms, and also subscribe to the channel so that you never miss out on a frontline analysis or news. This is the Global Observer, and I want you to continue keeping an eye out for more. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.